Hi everyone, welcome to another video here on She's Fit. Have you ever felt like you're in a constant war with your own body, where every pound you lose comes back twofold the moment you even breathe near a carb? The truth is, the traditional dieting system was designed while completely ignoring female biology, treating your metabolism as if it were a man's. Today, I am going to reveal why restrictive dieting is actually destroying your hormones and how you can flip the script by using science in your favor. Before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. And do me a huge favor, smash that like button. It really helps me keep bringing this life-changing content to you. Trust me, here at She's Fit, you're going to discover how to transform your body the right way. So, let's get into it. Before we start, I need to share something that has made all the difference for me. You know those days when you try hard but feel like your body just isn't responding the way it should? Well, I found out that sleep has way more impact on weight loss than I ever imagined. That's when I discovered Sleep Lean, a natural supplement specially designed to help women burn fat while they sleep. Yes, while they sleep. It's not a miracle, of course, but when combined with good nutrition and the right habits, the results are amazing. I personally felt my body lighter, my belly less bloated, and a different kind of energy just within the first few weeks. I'll leave the link here in the description so you can check all the details after the video. Trust me, it was a game changer for me. Now, let's get back to the video content. The first thing we need to understand, and that almost no one tells you, is that the female body is a masterpiece of biological engineering designed, above all, for energy conservation and the preservation of the species through reproduction. From an evolutionary standpoint, your body couldn't care less if you want six-pack abs for the summer. Its only goal is to ensure you survive a potential food shortage. When you decide to start an extremely restrictive diet, drastically slashing calories overnight or cutting out entire food groups, a dangerous disconnect occurs. Your brain doesn't realize you are trying to fit into a new dress or follow an Instagram trend. What it interprets, in a purely instinctive way, is that you are going through a severe famine or a historical drought. This perception of a threat instantly triggers the hypothalamus, which acts as your body's central thermostat. Upon detecting that the incoming energy is far lower than what's needed, the hypothalamus sends emergency signals throughout your entire endocrine system to drastically lower your basal metabolic rate (BMR). In other words, your body learns how to spend less just to keep your vital functions running. And here is the crucial detail. In women, this system is infinitely more sensitive than in men. While the male metabolism is more linear, the female metabolism is highly adaptive and protective. While you're grinding on the treadmill trying to burn fat at all costs, your body is doing the exact opposite. It is fighting to hold onto every single gram of stored fat, treating it like a precious life insurance policy. This is what we call adaptive thermogenesis. This metabolic glitch or lockdown is the exact reason why so many women plateau completely after the first 2 weeks of a diet. You start by losing weight fast, which is usually just glycogen and water weight, and then you hit a brick wall. An aggressive deficit signals a state of systemic danger, resulting in a protective cascade. There is an immediate drop in the conversion of thyroid hormones, specifically from T4 to free T3, which is the true gas pedal of your metabolism. With less T3 circulating, you feel colder, more exhausted, and your digestion slows to a crawl. Your weight loss journey becomes a losing battle before it even begins, because you aren't just fighting food. You are fighting millions of years of biological evolution that has decided that, for your own safety, you must not lose weight right now. We need to face reality. Restrictive diets aren't just hard, they are a massive, silent physiological stressor that attacks the very core of your hormonal balance. When you impose severe restriction, your body doesn't see it as an aesthetic choice. It sees it as a state of chronic crisis. In response, your adrenal glands start pumping out cortisol, the stress hormone, at alarming levels. In women, the impact of high cortisol is devastating and very specific. It has a terrible biological affinity for the fat receptors in your visceral region. This means that while you're starving yourself, cortisol is sending direct chemical signals to your body to prioritize storing energy right in your belly area as a way to protect your vital organs against the threat of scarcity. But the problem doesn't stop with cortisol. This severe deprivation starts to seriously mess with your insulin sensitivity. When you go through long periods of extreme calorie deprivation, your body enters a state of high alert where your blood glucose fluctuates dangerously. You start experiencing what we call brain fog, that feeling like your brain is operating in slow motion, your memory fails, and your focus vanishes. The worst part happens when you finally eat. Even if it is a meal considered healthy, your body, which was in a state of panic, releases a disproportionate amount of insulin to process that food. Insulin is the body's primary storage hormone, and when it's high, lipolysis fat burning becomes chemically impossible. It's as if insulin locks the door to your fat stores and throws away the key. You then enter a vicious, cruel cycle. You eat too little, which creates biological stress. That stress spikes your cortisol. Cortisol dysregulates your insulin, and high insulin ensures that everything you consume is stored as fat instead of being used as fuel. This is why so many women say, "I eat almost nothing, but I keep gaining belly fat." They aren't lying. Their metabolism is in maximum storage mode due to hormonal chaos. Understanding once and for all that female weight loss is, above all, a matter of hormonal balance and chemical signaling, and not a simple equation of calories in vs. Calories out is the ultimate game changer between eternal failure and real success. Without lowering cortisol and stabilizing insulin, no diet, no matter how restrictive, will give you the long-term results you're looking for. This is, without a doubt, the point that the vast majority of diet gurus and fitness influencers simply ignore, and this is exactly where the danger to women's health lies. We need to understand a fundamental biological hierarchy. To your brain, reproduction is a metabolic luxury. This means the female reproductive system is the first thing to be sacrificed, shut down, or severely impaired as soon as your body detects any sign of chronic nutrient scarcity or excessive caloric stress. When you adopt extremely low-fat diets, fats being the raw building blocks for hormone production, or drastically cut carbs for long periods, you are sending a crisis signal to your HPO axis, hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. The immediate result of this restriction is a sharp drop in progesterone production and a dangerous deregulation of estrogen levels. Progesterone isn't just for getting pregnant. It's your body's natural antidepressant and diuretic. Without it, you start experiencing insane water retention, that bloated feeling even when you haven't eaten anything heavy. Furthermore, the imbalance between estrogen and progesterone triggers a cascade of symptoms that wreck your self-esteem and health. Acne flares up as a response to inflammation. Your hair starts thinning because the body prioritizes vital organs over peripheral tissues, and you enter a state of overwhelming PMS. This PMS isn't just emotional. It is an uncontrollable physiological hunger for carbohydrates that your brain demands to try and recover the serotonin levels that crashed along with your hormones. When your sex hormones are out of whack because of a punishing diet, your body enters a state of low-grade systemic inflammation. For a woman with low progesterone or estrogen dominance, gaining or even maintaining muscle mass becomes an almost impossible task. And remember, muscle is your most metabolically expensive tissue. If you lose muscle because your hormones can't support protein synthesis, your metabolism slows down drastically. You might even lose weight on the scale, but you'll be becoming a skinny, fat, and metabolically slower version of yourself. We need a mindset shift. Your menstrual cycle is a vital sign, almost like a monthly report card of your metabolic health. If your diet is causing your period to be late, disappear amenorrhea, or become a time of extreme suffering, It's not working, it's breaking you from the inside out. A diet that kills your cycle is a diet that will, inevitably, kill your metabolism in the long run. Real, sustainable weight loss only happens in a body that feels safe enough to keep its reproductive and hormonal functions in perfect balance. Beyond all the biological mechanisms we've discussed, there is an invisible and powerful barrier: the psychology of deprivation. We need to understand that, from an evolutionary standpoint, the human brain hates the word no and absolutely loathes the idea of prohibition. The moment you decide you are never again eating bread or that sugar is your mortal enemy, you immediately trigger what neuroscience calls a neurological obsession. By contrast, once a food becomes forbidden, it becomes the central focus of your reward system. Your brain starts monitoring that food constantly, ramping up your cravings not out of true hunger, but through a scarcity mechanism. This leads us to a fundamental concept called decision fatigue. We all wake up with a limited supply of willpower. Throughout the day, you use that energy to work, solve problems, and say no to that office donut. However, willpower is a finite resource, just like a phone battery. By the time you get home at the end of the day, your self-control battery is on empty. That is exactly when your brain, exhausted by severe restriction and lacking quick energy, takes the wheel and demands an immediate chemical reward. It doesn't want a salad. It wants sugar and fat, because that is the fastest way to spike dopamine and replenish the energy stores you've been denying it all day. This is where binge eating happens. And I want you to listen very closely. The rebound effect, or that weekend binge, isn't a lack of willpower, it's not a lack of focus, and it's certainly not a character flaw. It is a biological and neurochemical response to cellular hunger. When your cells are undernourished due to a restrictive diet, your survival instinct screams louder than your conscious mind. You end up overeating because your body is desperately trying to compensate for the deficit you created. The restrict and binge cycle is a mental trap. You regain the weight not because you failed as a person, but because your game plan was technically unsustainable for your brain chemistry. A diet that requires 100% willpower all the time is a diet destined to fail. For weight loss to actually work, nutrition needs to stop being punitive and start being inclusive. We need to focus on nutrient density, giving your body what it actually needs so that the constant hunger signal finally shuts off. When your brain realizes there is no scarcity, the obsession with forbidden foods fades away. The secret isn't in the obsessive exclusion of calories, but in signaling abundance to your nervous system. Now that we've debunked the myths that caused you to fail in the past, let's focus on the real solution: strategic nutrition. The big secret for the female body isn't eating less and less. It's learning how to eat in a way that signals abundance to your metabolism. The first pillar of this strategy is prioritizing high-quality protein combined with fibrous vegetables. Protein has the highest thermic effect of food TEF among all macronutrients, meaning your body burns more energy just digesting protein than it does fat or carbs. More importantly, it's the only macro that guarantees you preserve lean muscle mass while losing fat. Without enough protein, your body will literally eat its own muscle to get amino acids, which nukes your basal metabolic rate. But we can't just look at calories. We have to look at your gut health. Your gut is literally your second brain and the engine of your weight loss. This is where about 20% of your thyroid hormone conversion happens, turning inactive T4 into active T3, which we mentioned earlier. If your gut is inflamed from crazy restrictive diets or a lack of fiber, your metabolism will stay sluggish no matter how hard you train. Plus, 90% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. If your gut health is compromised, your anxiety and sugar cravings will skyrocket. Nourishing your microbiome is, therefore, a direct fat loss strategy. Another non-negotiable pillar is strength training. There is this unfounded fear among many women about getting bulky or looking masculine, but the reality is that muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. Having muscle isn't just about aesthetics. It's like having obesity insurance. The more lean mass you have, the more calories you burn while watching TV or sleeping. The classic mistake of restrictive dieting is overdoing excessive cardio, often fasted, which in women tends to chronically spike cortisol, signaling the body to store belly fat due to stress. Swap the endless cardio for weights and watch the hormonal magic happen. Finally, we need to talk about cellular nutrition. For your fat to be burned, it has to enter a furnace inside your cells called the mitochondria. But this furnace only works if it has the right lumberjacks, micronutrients like magnesium, zinc, selenium, and B vitamins. When you go on a restrictive diet, you enter a state of depletion for these minerals. Without magnesium, your body can't manage insulin properly. Without zinc, your thyroid won't work. The goal should be to nourish your mitochondria. When you provide your body with the necessary micronutrients, it finally feels safe enough to unlock your fat stores and release them to be used as fuel. It's about moving from survival mode to efficiency mode. To round out the pillars of what actually works, we have to talk about the most underrated factor of all: sleep and cellular recovery. You could have the most perfect meal plan in the world and the most expensive personal trainer, but if you aren't getting quality sleep, you're trying to fill a leaky bucket. Sleep isn't just downtime. For women, it's a period of deep, irreplaceable hormonal restoration. When you're sleep deprived, a neurochemical catastrophe happens the next morning. Your levels of ghrelin, the hormone that triggers physical hunger, spike, while leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, to your brain plummets. The result? You wake up already at a disadvantage, with your brain begging for quick energy and refined carbs to compensate for the fatigue. But the impact goes beyond just hunger. Real weight loss and fat oxidation happen predominantly during deep sleep, which is when your body releases growth hormone GH and performs tissue repair. If you're living in a constant state of high alert, your body prioritizes cortisol over restorative rest. This is where the circadian rhythm comes in, your internal biological clock that governs every single metabolic process. For women, aligning your routine with this rhythm is a total game changer. Simple strategies, like getting direct sunlight exposure first thing in the morning, help regulate melatonin production at night and balance your morning cortisol. This tells your body exactly when it has time to spend energy and when it has time to store or repair. We also need to address stress management through rituals. The female body is extremely sensitive to safety signals. If you end your day glued to the blue light of your screens and working until the very last minute, your nervous system stays stuck in fight or flight mode. Creating a sleep hygiene ritual is how you signal to your metabolism that the threat has passed and it can finally let its guard down. When your parasympathetic nervous system takes over, your body can finally process insulin efficiently and reduce systemic inflammation. The big secret of women who maintain their weight sustainably is that they've learned to respect their own biological clock and the phases of their cycle. They understand that during certain weeks of the month, the body demands more rest, and that sleep is non-negotiable. When you stop fighting your nature and start working with your circadian rhythm, weight loss stops being a Herculean effort and becomes a natural byproduct of a healthy, rested, and hormonally balanced body. The weight starts to come off without the misery of starvation diets, because a body that feels safe has no reason to hoard fat. Weight loss isn't about fighting your body. It's about learning its language. Stop punishing yourself with restrictions that only lead to failure, and start nourishing your biology so it can work for you, not against you. You deserve results that last a lifetime, and that only happens with knowledge and patience. I'll see you at the next level of your health journey. And don't forget the tip I gave you at the beginning. If you need to lose weight, click the link in the video description and get Sleep Lean right now. It might be exactly what's missing in your journey. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe here to She's Fit, and share this video to help the channel grow. Also, let me know in the comments what kind of content you want to see next to help you on your weight loss journey.